Hi everyone, welcome to Kaizen Sports. Today we're going to be doing lots of different activities, and some of it might look a little bit like gymnastics, which is written on the board, but what we're really doing is a multi-skills session. And what we mean by multi-skills is that we're going to be doing a lot of different movements: agility, balance, coordination. Sometimes we'll be using equipment as well, with the idea of it, some of it, being able to fit into your gymnastics lesson when you do it later on. So just to reiterate, this isn't a gymnastics lesson. It's not trying to be either. It's a multi-skills lesson, but some of the ideas you might be able to use in gymnastics, and some of the ideas you might have taken from gymnastics when you build up your own multi-skills performance, which is what we're going to do today. All you'll need is a scrunched up piece of paper or a sock, and the good news is you don't even need that straight away. We're going to be working on a range of different movements as we build up our multi-skills performance. So we've got 5 different activities that we're going to be looking at. One's repeated, so in theory we've just got 4 activities, and at the end of the lesson you're then going to create your own multi-skills performance. We'll make sure that we've got plenty of time to explain how that looks and to build up the key components so that we can do that effectively. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to start off nice and easily with different types of balances. First thing we're going to look at is what's called a 1-point balance. And all we mean by a 1-point balance is one part of the body is touching the floor. So let me give you an example. I might just stand with one foot on the floor, and if you can hold it for 5 seconds, then that makes it a balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. During this time, I'm not going to be wobbling around. I'm aiming to keep as still as possible. So we're going to do it with me. Everybody on your right leg. Keep the balance. You can do what you like with your hands, but it's easy if you hold them out to your side because that helps you balance and stabilize. With your other foot, you can hold it to your knee. You might move to the side, you might have it in front of you, it's up to you. Either way, we're going to hold it for 5 seconds. So, get yourself ready. Off we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. As always, whatever we do on our right, we do on our left because we want to build competency on both sides. So let's try it on our left foot. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now obviously this isn't the only way that we can balance. We can balance on one part of our body, maybe using something such as your bum. So find a nice space to sit down on the floor, somewhere where it's nice and safe. Teachers, if you can help with that process, that'd be great. Obviously chairs go beneath the desk. Make sure you're in good space near nobody else. Sit on your bum and then lift your legs up. And we should be able to hold this again for around 5 seconds, and that shows that we have control over our balance. So let's give it a go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we can balance using our feet, we can balance using our bum, we might even do a balance on our back. So we're a little bit like a turtle balancing on our shell. So all we're going to do from the balance here is roll onto your back, make sure you've got enough space available, and then you're going to lift your knees up. So now the only part of the body touching the floor should be your back. And again, we'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're just going to look at 2 more parts that you can use to touch the floor, and then we'll start looking at adding in a bit more creativity. So we can use our feet, use our bum, we can use our back, we can even use our tummy or our chest. And again, you're going to get into a safe space. Lie down on your front, lift your arms and legs into the air. It's a little bit like you're skydiving. So the only part of the body touching the floor should be your stomach. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. And the final part that we're going to be using as part of our balances is using your knee. So you can balance on one knee. If it's a little bit too hard on one knee, then you can use 2s. And all we're going to do is slightly lean forward so you're balancing on your knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. and relax and stand back up. So that's just a really brief introduction to the types of balances. Use your feet, use your bum, use your back, use your chest, you might use your knees. It's worth bearing in mind as well, at no point are we going to use our head. Our head's a very important, delicate and fragile part of the body, so we want to make sure that we're not balancing that. Remember, this isn't a gymnastics club. It's not even a gymnastics lesson. It's a multi-skills lesson, but some of the ideas we're using here will be used as part of what might look like a gymnastics performance. Certainly some of the ideas you could use in gymnastics, but it's not a gymnastics lesson. That said, let's get on with the action. So we've looked at a 1-point balance. I'd like you guys now to be very creative when you try out your 2-point balance. And all we mean by 2-point balances are 2 parts of the body touching the floor. So I'm going to give you 3 examples, and then you're going to branch out and come up with your own unique balances. So the first one we're going to do, probably the easiest balance of all time, is you're going to stand. I've got 2 parts of my body touching the floor, my right foot, my left foot, and I'm going to hold that for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another option is I might get my hand involved as I'm balancing. So I might balance on one foot and I have one hand touching the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to talk through one more example before you start coming up with your own ideas. So you might have your bum touching the floor and maybe one foot. So for example, I might sit and have one leg on the floor, the other leg lifted up. So I've got my bum, my foot, and they're the 2 parts of the body that are touching the floor. And as always, we hold it for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Right, here's the challenge. I'd like you to come up with 3 more balances using different parts of the body. We're not using the head, but you can use your hands, your back, your feet, your knees, your chest, your tummy, and your bum. 3 balances, get into that position. If you're not sure on what balances to do, you can just copy the ones I'm doing. If you've got some good ideas that you can do safely, then go ahead and do that. So, get into a new balance. Try and use different parts of your body if you can. I'm going to use my knee and my foot, and we're going to hold it together as a class. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Well done. Go into another balance using 2 parts of your body. It's up to you what you use. I'm going to use my back and a hand. Off you go. Once you've got into that, count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go into one final balance. Again, you can copy me or you can come up with your own, but we need 2 parts of the body touching the floor. I'm going to go 1 foot and 1 hand, but it's up to you what you do. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well worked, everyone. We're starting to get the idea of different balances we can do. We're now going to up the ante a little bit more by looking at a 3-point balance. By this point, you know the drill. So I want to see 5 different balances that we're going to go through together using 3 parts of your body touching the floor. Again, if you're not too sure, you can copy the ideas I'm using, or you might branch out and come up with a few more. 3 parts of the body touching the floor. Get into a position and hold it for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one balance. We're going to do 4 more. Get into another position. 3 parts of the body touching the floor. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And another one. Try and use different parts of the body if you can. Off you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And get yourself into another balance. 3 parts of the body touching the floor. See if we can make it interesting each time. And hold the balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to do just one more balance. Try and use parts of the body that you haven't used yet. Off you go, get into that balance. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Fantastic. They're the 3-point balances. We're now going to finish with some 4-point balances. If you're anything like me, you'll notice that you start to get a little bit warm. What I'm asking you to do is very difficult. So if you're one of the teachers or parents joining in, you too will appreciate just how difficult this is. So 4-point balances, this is the last one. So we're just going to do 3 of them. So 4 parts of the body touching the floor, get into a position. It's up to you which 4 parts. Make sure you do it nice and safely. I'm going to use my hands and my feet. You ready? Off we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you use 4 different parts of your body? Get into a position. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That time I've used my hand, my back and both my feet. And let's just go into one more before we move on to our types of jumps. 4 parts of the body touching the floor. Off we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Really well worked, guys. That comprises of the balances done for the moment. So we don't need to do them again at the end. We've now got some good ideas that we might use as part of our multi-skills performance. So it is quite warm. So just take 1 minute now, grabbing yourself a drink. If there's any balances that you want to do again, you can do. Make sure you do it safely. And within the next 50 seconds, make sure that you're ready, because we're going to be looking at different types of jumps that we can add to our multi-skills performance. I'll see you in 40 seconds. For those of you that are just tuning in, we're doing a multi-skills performance. So we're going to be doing lots of turns, jumps, balances. Some of it might even look a little bit like gymnastics, which is why we've got gymnastics written at the top. And if you certainly have any gymnastic skills that you can do safely, then you can certainly use them. But bear in mind, obviously, you are working at home. A lot of you are inside the classroom right now. So you need to bear that in mind, because you being safe is the most important thing. So parents and teachers and the kids, make sure we're all doing that. Last 10 seconds, get yourself another glug of water, and then we're going to crack on and look at our 4 different types of jumps that we can add to our sequence. All right, so let's get straight into it then. The pencil jump. The pencil jump's nice and simple. You're going to start with your feet quite close together, hands by your side. All you're going to do then, lightly swing your hands behind you, and as you bring your hands forwards and up, you go straighten your legs and leave the floor. So I'll show you it from the side. Feet together, a slight bend in your knees, and swing your arms and then straighten your legs. We're going to do 10 of these all together. It's not a race. We're going to do it nice and slow to make sure that we're really getting that quality. So, are we ready? Pencil jump, let's do 10. Off we go. 1, 2. Make sure that you bend your knees when you land as well. 3, 4, 5. If you want to add a little bit more height onto your jumps, you can do. You just need to swing your hands further and bend your knees a lot more at the start, so you've got more energy to spring upwards. 6. I'm going to try a higher one now. 7. 8. 9. 10. Fantastic work. The next one that you might use as part of your performance is the star jump, and a lot of you will know how this looks. So again, make sure you've got a nice easy space to work in, nice and clear. You're going to start with your feet together and you've got two choices. You can either do the star jump all together in one motion, arms and legs flared out to the side and back in. If that's a little bit too difficult, you might do it in two separate stages. 1 and then back for 2. Either way, we're going to do 10. Start with the pencil jump, like bending your knees, but arms and legs go out to the side and then come back. We're going to do 10 of these. Make sure you've got a nice space to work in. Off we go. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're bending your knees. 4. That helps absorb the impact. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you wanted to do it in two separate parts. Next one we're going to look at is the tuck jump. This tuck jump is arguably one of the most tiring ones to do. We're going to do 10. We're going to work on our fitness at the same time. And with these jumps, we're going to start off like the pencil jump. Feet together, bending our knees. But as we lift our hands up this time, our knees are going to come up. Now there is a slight problem, because if our hands are going this way and our knees are going this way, there's a danger that our body could rotate in midair, and we don't want that to happen. So we can help counteract that by bringing our hands forward to counter the motion of the knees. Knees are coming up as our arms come down. So the jump should look there. You can see my hands come down so that my knees don't cause my body to over rotate. I'm going to show you one more time and then we'll do it as a group up to 10. Let's do 10. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I went a bit wonky on that one. 8, 9, and one more. Well done, guys. Good stuff. We've got one more jump left to add. It is very tiring. The last one of my favourites, is the double kick. And you might see this a little bit in martial arts, but it's also useful for if you to do any gymnastics and other skills. You might even do it in football as part of a double kick, lifting your body up before you then strike the ball with your other foot. So, before I run out of breath, I'm going to find a space to work in. To break it down, I can either do one foot and then hop onto the other and bring it back, or I can try and do it all in one motion where I'm going to swing both my legs up. We're going to do 10 of these. You can either do it separately or you can do it all together. Let's do 10. Let's go. 1, 2. Again, you're going to use your hands to balance. 3, 4. You can lift your knees up a little bit further if you want to. 5. But as long as you're lifting up off the floor, 6, then that's fine. 7, looks a bit like an Irish dance. 8, 9, even better if you can change your leading leg. And 10, nice and simple. We've done all the balances, we've done all the jumps, we are flying through this. Whew. Get yourself a drink. 1 minute and then we'll make a start on different types of skills that we're going to add. Now, if you've been here in the last few weeks, we've worked on different throwing, catching and coordination skills, so we can now start linking them into our multi-skills performance. you might already have an idea about the types of throws, catches, bounces and hits that you might use. Oh, it's very, very warm. Last 30 seconds. This is for me as well to get my breath back, because I don't know about you guys, but it is very tiring. So I just need that little bit of a break just to get my own energy back as well. So if you're a little bit tired and warm, that's good. You're probably the same as me. You're going to get a ball. There's no rush. We don't start for another 20 or 30 seconds. If you're at home, you can use a scrunched up sock. If you're at school, then it might be one of those scrunched up piece of paper that you've used in other weeks. So, your performance is going to start with a balance that you're going to hold. You're then going to pick a jump of your choice. And then, much like gymnastics, you're then going to add a skill element. So sometimes if you look at gymnastics, especially rhythmic gymnastics, sometimes they might use a ribbon that they'll carry around with them. Sometimes it might be a ball that they've got to balance as they're doing their skills. Sometimes they might use a hoop, and there's various other items that they can use. To make our performance a little bit more authentic, we're going to use a rolled up sock or a scrunched up piece of paper, which will hopefully challenge you guys a little bit further. So, 1 minute, all I'd like you to do is come up with a way of throwing the ball, but so that you can catch it as well. So here's a few examples. You might throw with two hands. You might throw with one hand. You might throw from one hand across to the other, like a rainbow throw we practiced. You might do a throw over your arm, over your shoulder, under your foot. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to be doing a range of different throws, so you can either copy them or come up with your own. We've done this in previous lessons, so we're only going to spend 60 seconds on this, a way that you can throw the ball and catch. Go. Just 1 minute. Try and find something with enough flair that it will add some creativity to your performance, to your sequence, but something that's easy enough that you'll be able to complete it without your sock going miles away and then it muddying your performance. I think the one I'm going to do is over my back. I quite like that as a throw. So I'm just going to practice that a few times. Last 30 seconds to practice the type of throw that you want to do in your performance. Again, if you've been here in other weeks, you'll have a range of different throws and hopefully you've practiced them enough so that you're actually pretty competent at them. Last 10 seconds. If it's a throw that you're dropping all the time, it's maybe time to switch it up and do something a little bit different. Something that will add to the panache, the finesse of your performance. Good stuff. The next one we're going to look at is different ways of balancing the ball. So a few options are, you might balance it on two hands. I like that one the most. You might balance it on one hand. You might balance it on the shoulder, your head, your knee. It's entirely up to you, but as always with our balance, we make sure that we hold it for the full 5 seconds, and this shows that you've got control of the ball. So, 1 minute, if you're not sure, copy some of my ideas. If you've got comfortable with it, then try out your own ideas. 5 seconds to balance it each time across a minute. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick a different one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And pick another. Gonna have to think quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And pick another one. This time, can you do something extra which makes your balance even better? So instead of just that, I might do something extra with my hands to make it look even better than it already is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we can do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do just one more. You can make it up something interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're the types of balances that you might do with your ball. You might add that as part of your performance that you must hold for 5 seconds. Next thing we're going to move on to is different ways to catch the ball. Again, we've done this in previous weeks. So you've got 1 minute to experiment with different ways of catching the ball. Again, if you're not sure, I'm going to give you a few examples that you can copy. 1 minute, off you go. So I might catch with 2 hands. I might do some clever catches, maybe crossing both hands over and try and catch. I caught it that time, I dropped it first time. So if it's something that I keep dropping, then I might pick something else. It might be you catch with one hand. Maybe you catch with the other. It might be you do a J catch, where you try and catch there. And it's known as like a J catch, or it's like an elephant's trunk and I try and catch. I've failed a couple of times with that one. So because I've failed a couple of times, I'm probably going to leave that one and go for something else instead. I think the catch I'm going to do is probably the two-handed catch. I quite like that one. You might even be able to catch using different parts of your body. It's very tough. Something that you can do that will add to your performance. Last 30 seconds. Again, if you're not sure, you might copy some of the ideas that I'm doing. I think the catch I'm going to do is probably the two-handed one. I like that one. I know it's something I can do. I've practiced it in other weeks. And time's up. The final one you're going to do is one of my favourites, is the hit. So this time, instead of throwing or balancing or catching the ball, you're going to hit the ball up. And there's different parts of the body you can use. Think of going back to the balances. You might use your feet. You might use your hands. You might use your knees. You might use other parts of your body. This time you are allowed to use your head because it's only a soft ball or a piece of paper, so that's completely fine. So, 1 minute to come up with different ways of hitting and then catching the ball. Oh, bless me. That's better. Right, off we go. You might hit it with the front of your hand. You might hit it with the back of your hand. If you're struggling for ideas, you might copy me, or you might even have come up with your own, because we've worked on it in other weeks. But a hit and then a catch, a strike it's sometimes called when we hit a ball. We might strike the ball in football, we might strike the ball in cricket, we might strike the ball in hockey or in golf. But either way, it needs to be something where hitting or striking the ball. If your ball keeps touching the floor, try a skill that's a little bit easier. Last 30 seconds. Something that's enjoyable, something that you're good at. For those footballers in the room, you might even safely try and use your feet. Oops. This is why I've got spares, because I keep losing them. So my foot probably isn't something I'm going to do because I failed a few times at that. I'm going to try something a bit easier. Last 10 seconds to pick one that you're going to do. And time's up. Because we've done another row, again, take a minute to get your breath back. Grab yourself a drink and relax for a minute. You might even take this time to think about which skill you're going to use as part of your performance. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome back everybody. We're doing a multi-skills performance. You might be able to steal some ideas from what you do in gymnastics. You might even be able to use some of these ideas in a gymnastics lesson. It's obviously not a gymnastics lesson or a gymnastics club, it's multi-skills, but some of the activities might be a bit synonymous and useful in the gymnastics world as well. Last 30 seconds to get your breath back, and then we're going to look at different types of turns that we can use as we add that to our performance as well. Everybody that's practicing at home, everyone that's practicing at school, it's Friday. It's nearly the weekend, we are nearly there, just a couple of activities left to do, and I think you might have another lesson after this, but then it's the weekend. So keep working hard everybody, the finish line is in sight. We're going to turn using our feet, and there's a few different ways we can do this. I'm going to show you one way, and then you're going to come up with a few of your own. So one thing I can do is quite simply just shuffle around. And that's an example of a turn I might do. As always, we try and do it both ways when we get the chance. Another turn that you might do is maybe a bit of a jump and a turn. You might swing one leg one way and then the other way. It's up to you, but you're going to experiment safely using different turns, only using your feet. Your hands, your legs, the rest of the body shouldn't be touching anything else, just your feet. 60 seconds to experiment with some ideas, and as always, if you're not too sure, there's nothing wrong with copying my ideas and then adapting them to make them even better. Off we go, 60 seconds. I'm just holding my cable while I'm doing it so I don't get wrapped up. Last 20 seconds using your feet to pull out different types of turns. One famous one that Michael Jackson used to do was he used to spin his arms around on his feet and then he'd kind of spin around like that as well, which also looked pretty cool. The last 10 seconds, see if you can do one more turn safely just using your feet. Good stuff, well worked everybody. We're now going to look at other parts of the body that we can use. Sure, we can use our feet to turn, we know that because we've just done it. But think again back to the balances that you were doing. You were using your back, your bum, your knee, your stomach. Can we use those parts of the body as well to do a safe and effective turn? Again, try it out yourself or copy some of the ideas I've got. 1 minute, off you go. Turns without using your feet, so your feet should be off the floor. I might turn using my bum. An easy way to do that one is have one hand by the side of your knee, the other hand behind you, and then you can use that to swivel. And again, one hand behind me, one hand by my feet, and I can swivel. So I can use my bum. I might use my knee. So I'm going to get on all fours, balance on one knee, and then I might pivot on my knee. Again, using my hands. It doesn't have to be the best, most perfect move that's ever been seen. It just needs to be something that's quite creative. Something that'll challenge you a little bit, but is safe. Last 10 seconds to come up with another one. If you've got the space, you might even be able to do the skydiver pose, but then turn on your body as well. My whiteboard's in the way, so I haven't got enough room to do that one, but there's other turns I can obviously do. And time's up. Next thing we're going to do is look to add different heights to our sequence. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start in a very low position. And again, think about the balances you've been using. And we're then going to turn our body so that we finish in a high balance. So let me give you an example. I might start with a low balance, both my hands and feet touching the floor. So you could call this a 4-point balance. And all I'm going to do is as I move forwards, I'm going to start standing until I'm stretching my hands above my head. There you can see I've gone from a low balance into a high one. There's hundreds of different ways to do it, so don't just copy my idea, come up with your own. 60 seconds, off you go. If you're not sure, you can always copy my ideas and then make them even better. I might start on my bum, I might rock, and turn. Each time we need to add a turn into it as well. We're not doing rolls, we're not doing cartwheels, we're not doing backflips or round-offs. Remember, it's not even a gymnastics lesson. It's a multi-skills lesson, but some of the skills you might borrow from gymnastics, and we call that transferable skills. We talked about that the other time. Transferable means you might take some ideas from one part and then use it somewhere else. So for example, if you're a cricketer, and you enjoy playing cricket, some of the throws that you use in cricket, you might be able to use in something like dodgeball. Well worked, guys. We're going to finish with the last of our turns, and then you're going to start stringing together your own performance. So, first thing we're going to do The last thing we're going to do, not the first, the antithesis of the first, that means opposite. We're going to start with a high balance and move into a low balance. Personally, I think this one's a little bit easier. So pick a high balance to start in. I might start with one of my yoga poses. I think this one's called the tree pose. And then I'm going to move, turning into a low balance. Then I'm going to get back up and do a different one. Off you go, 1 minute. And again, you might use different parts of your body to move and balance safely. Each time we're starting from a high position and we're scaling down into a low position. Let's try an interesting one. Like the Superman pose. And then again, I might just do a spin and a turn into Thor. You've got just enough time just to bust out one more, starting in a high position, go into a low position, and make sure you safely add in a turn. Well worked, everybody, good stuff. Because we've done another line, our final one, we've already done balances, so go in again, grab yourself a drink. What you're doing is hard work, it is difficult, so grab yourself a drink, use this time to relax, and then I'll explain how we go about structuring our own sequence, our own performance, out of the raw skills that we've just practiced here. Off you go and grab a drink if you need to. We're going to think of this a little bit like building a house. And if you remember when you were a little bit younger, and maybe you do it now, you still play with Lego. Well, the more Lego pieces that you collect, the bigger house that you can build. If you've only got 3 pieces, that's going to be a very small house. If you've got 3,000 pieces, you can build half a village with that. So the more skills that we can practice and get better at, the more we can use them as part of a performance. So this is what I'd like you to do next. We're going to pick, I could have done with my black pen, but never mind. We're going to pick one part of each section, and then we're going to weave that into a performance. So let me explain. I might choose to start with a balance using one part of my body. The next up is a jump. So I might pick a jump, and I might go with the star jump. I quite like that one. From there, I'm going to try a skill. I might go back to doing the throw. I liked my over the shoulder throw. That was something that stood out. From here, I might go from another balance. So I might go from a high balance to a low balance. And then I'm going to pick my finishing balance. And my finishing balance might be the same as the first one. It might be something different. So I'm going to finish just on 2 legs. So all we're going to do now quickly is we're just going to watch my performance, but in your head, start thinking about one part from each section that you might use. So for example, I'm going to do my balance. I'm going to hold for 5 seconds. I'm going to make sure I've got my sock handy as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm then going to go into my star jump. I'm then going to go into a throw, the 2-handed throw. I'm then going to go into a turn from high to low. So I'm just going to turn and then finish on both my feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's my performance. Thank you very much, everybody. Now you're going to do your own performance, pick one part from each section, and then crack on with your own performance. If you're struggling for ideas, again, you can copy my ideas because I'll be doing it with you at the same time. If you're okay and you're quite experienced, then you might make a start yourself. Off you go. 10 minutes making your own performance. Because I've done that one already, I'm going to try something slightly different this time. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to do the same one again, but I'm going to try and perfect it. I'm going to try and make it better. So, everybody gets into your starting position, whatever it may be. Hopefully it's a balance. Everyone get into your starting position, and we're going to hold it together and hopefully go through each section as a class. So, hopefully the teacher or parents watching out for the best performance as well. Off we go. Balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody make a jump. Everybody try out your skill. Everybody try out your turn. And then you should finish with your ending balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, well done everybody. That's one example that you might do. Feel free to mix it up and try something different each time. Off you go. For me, I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I'm going to mark it with a square each time, but you guys can start. I'm going to do a 3-legged balance. I'm then going to go into a tuck jump. I'm then going to go into balancing the ball. I'm then going to go... I'm going to go turn using my feet. And the final one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1-legged balance because I'm on my feet already. Okay guys, just finish the performance that you're on, and then again we're going to start together and do it as a class. So pick your balance. For me, I picked 3 parts, touching the floor, make sure you've got your thing, and we're all going to start together. First balance. Off you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now into your jump. Now into balancing the ball however you want. Or another move that you might have, your skill move. Once you've done that, we can then add in the turn. And then you can finish on your final balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good stuff everybody. Let's go through again, but try and use different parts again. I'm going to try and use a different colour pen so I can make it a little bit more obvious. If you've already got some ideas, feel free to make a start. I'm just going to take a little bit more time to do some planning. Off you go. So I'm going to do 4 balance. I'm then going to go up into a pencil jump. I'll move out of the way so you can see. I'm then going to hit the ball. I think I'm going to turn using another part of my body. And then I'm going to finish with 4 parts of the body touching the floor. So just finish the performance that you're on at the moment. Make sure you know what order you're going to go in. And again, we're going to do it as a class. If you're unsure, of course, you can just copy my ideas, or you might copy someone else in the classroom that's of a similar ability to you. So let's make a start. Starting balance. Off you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's going to go safely into their jump and then their skill. And then back into another type of turn. And then we finish with your ending balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done everybody. We're going to go through just one more. It might be your favourites that you pick. It might be one that you haven't done so far. I'm personally going to pick the ones that I haven't done yet because I want to try and get as many Lego bricks as I can. I want to try and build up as much experience as possible so that I can build the biggest and best house. Or in this case, the biggest and best performance. So I'm going to bounce with 2 parts of my body, the double kick, the catch, a low movement to a high movement before finishing balancing on 3. You've got 10 seconds to decide what you're going to pick for your own personal performance. And then again, we're going to deliver it as a whole class. Off you go. 10 seconds to plan. Okay, I've planned mine. And let's make a start. So, first balance. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into your kick, into your skill, into your turn, whatever it may be. And finally finishing on your balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fantastic work, everybody. We're going to go through it again, but this time I'd like you to mix it up even further. We're going to go 2 balances, 2 jumps, 2 skills, 2 turns, and then 1 balance to finish with. So you've got a minute to do some planning, and then we'll make a start on it. If you've already got a good idea of what you're going to do, you can make a start already. So for me, I'm going to use a different pen still. This, by the way, is the final performance that we're going to be doing. So we're going to try it out maybe 2 or 3 times, and hopefully we can perfect it. So I think I'm going to go a 3, a 2, star, a pencil. Again, use this time to pick the ones that you like, something you're good at, or you might try and pick something that you want to improve on to challenge yourself that little bit further. I'm going to do a throw as well and a catch. This is the worst shading in you've ever seen in your life. I'm then going to do a turn from low to high. I'm going to do that with my feet. I might be able to do that at the same time. So I might be clever. I might be able to combine some of the jumps. And then I'm going to finish with another couple of balances. A 4 and a 3. If you're all ready to go, you can make a start straight away. Or you can wait until we do it as a group. It's entirely up to you. I'll tell you what, let's do it as a group because then everyone's doing it at the same time, okay? So cancel the performance, get yourselves ready in the first out of 2 balances. A balance into a balance, then into a jump. Off we go. So hold your first balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into your second balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into your first jump, into your second jump, into your first skill, into your second skill, into a type of turn that you're going to do, into a second type of turn, and then into your first balance. 2, 3, 4, 5, and into your second balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully you all saw that and I didn't cut out too much. It's just telling me that my battery is a little bit low. But nevertheless, we're going to go through it just twice more. This time I'd like to think about something slightly different. Linking the movements together. I'll show you what I mean. If I'm doing a balance using 3 parts of the body to touch the floor and then going into a pencil jump, well, that might be quite difficult. So what I might actually do is have a think beforehand. So if I'm thinking that I'm going to finish on 2 feet, then I'm in the perfect position to do a jump next. You might even combine some movements. So for example, I might do a turn using my feet and make the movement a low one to a high one, or a high one to a low one at the same time. So some of the moves that you do, you'll be able to combine. And this will make your performance a lot more fluid and a lot quicker as well. So off we go, get yourselves ready. 2 balances, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next balance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into your first jump, into your second jump, into your skill, into your second skill, into your turn, and into your next turn. Again, you might be able to string them together quite nicely. And then finally going back into your 2 balances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done everybody, good work. We are going to do one final performance and then we are done for the day. You've all worked very hard, one more left to do. You can do the same as you did before, or if you want, you can use 3 parts from each section. I'm quite ambitious, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3 parts from each. If you want to do that as well, you can do. Depends how ambitious you are, how much you enjoy a challenge. So again, we're talking about loads of different multi-skills here, which is going to make the performance very difficult. Final performance of the day. Going to give you 10 more seconds left to plan. If anybody's just joined us, this looks like scribblings all over the place, but I assure you there is method to the madness. Are we ready? All right, final performance of the day. Let's go. Find a nice space to stand in. We're going to now do 3 balances, holding each one for 5 seconds. Make sure you test yourself. Make sure you do it safely. Class, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Balance 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Balance 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's do our jumps. Jump 1, jump 2, jump 3 into your skills. Skill number 1, skill number 2, skill number 3, and then if you can, straight into your turns. Again, you might use different parts of your body as well to do the turns. And once you've done that, you're going to finish with your balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done everybody, give yourself a huge round of applause. What we've just done there is very difficult. Again, it's not a gymnastics lesson, it's multi-skills, but hopefully you can use some of those ideas that you tried out in a gymnastics lesson. If you're very good at gymnastics, you might have used a few of those ideas to go into there. The idea of this is it's all around transferable learning, and that's where you can try things in one area and practice it in another. So for example, if you're good at one computer game and you play another similar computer game, you might be quite good at that even though you've never played it before. And there's other examples as well, such as if you're good at cricket and good at throwing, you're probably going to be good at dodgeball, and you're probably going to be pretty good at throwing the ball for your dog to catch when you go out for weekend walks as well. Thank you very much everybody, have a fantastic weekend. We finished slightly early because I know it's Friday and there's a lot of things to do. Plus if you've been drinking lots, you may well need the toilet now. So thank you very much everybody, take care, stay safe, stay active, and I will see you all again next week. Adios, ciao, au revoir.